This is the second topic of chapter number 7. Initially, we have discussed the basic terms and concepts of cost, which includes the fixed cost, variable cost. After that, we have taken a look at the averages, then the total cost, average cost, and then the marginal cost. Now we are going to continue with the next topic, which is the relation between average cost and marginal cost. Let me define average cost once again. That average cost is the per unit cost. Either dividing total cost with the output will give us the average cost, or average cost is equals to average fixed cost plus average variable cost. And when we plot the average cost curve, it is a U-shaped cost curve. Starting from higher reaches to minimum and then again start increasing. Then comes the marginal cost, which is the additional cost of producing an additional unit of the same product. Mathematically speaking, change in total cost due to change in output is marginal cost, or difference between second and first value of total cost is marginal cost. Now, when we plot the marginal cost and average cost curve, marginal cost curve always intersects the average total cost curve from below at its minimum point, as you can see at this point A. Now, the point where marginal cost curve intersects the average cost, we will define this point as the equilibrium or cost minimization point. Now, when the marginal cost is below average cost, let's say somewhere over here, average cost is declining, as we can see. And when marginal cost is above the average cost, this is marginal cost and it is above the average cost is increasing. When marginal cost just equals the average cost, over here, average cost is constant at the bottom of a U-shaped average cost, and marginal cost becomes equals to average cost. Now, this is the most desirable point for the producer because it indicates the cost minimization for a firm. And it occurs when the marginal cost is equals to average cost. It means that cost of additional unit is equals to cost of the last produced unit. Now, it is also known as the optimal production point for the producer, which means that the maximum level of output that can be produced with the given level of inputs. कि firm इससे ज़्यादा minimum cost पे output produce नहीं कर सकती और यह हर firm के लिए एक desirable production point है. Now, let's say that if marginal cost is less than average cost. Okay, let me take you back to the previous slide. When we are saying marginal cost is less than average cost, somewhere over here, it means that marginal cost is, let's say, at this point, and this is average cost. It means that marginal cost is lower and average cost is relatively higher, which means cost of an additional unit is less than cost of the last produced unit. Which means कि extra unit आपके लिए पहले प्रोड्यूस किए हुए यूनिट से रिलेटिवली चीपर है. तो अगर हर एक्स्ट्रा यूनिट प्रोड्यूसर के लिए पहले से चीपर है तो उसका प्रॉफिट मार्जिन जो है वो इंक्रीज हो रहा है. And that profit encourages the producer to increase production. Let's say that over here. So it will continue from this point towards over here, and as we see that output or production is increasing. But it is quite possible that marginal cost can be higher than average cost. Again, let's go back to the picture that this is marginal cost and this is average cost. It means कि आपका जो extra unit की cost है वो आपके पहले produce किए हुए unit की cost से कम आ रही है. जो example हमने discuss की थी last lecture में, जहाँ पे हमने CD manufacturer की example को consider किया था, the same example you can keep in mind that if the marginal cost is 12 and average cost is 10, it means that cost of additional unit is greater than the cost of last produced unit, which means loss for the firm. And to minimize the loss or to cut down the loss, what the producer will do, that it will reduce the output. So most desirable point is when the marginal cost is equals to average cost, or the cost minimization point. But if the producer is not at that point, if marginal cost is greater than average cost, production increases. If marginal cost is less than average cost, production increases. And if marginal cost is greater than average cost, output or production is going to be reduced. Now the same we are going to discuss over here using the table. It is the same table which we have discussed in the last lecture. Fixed cost is given, which is $55. Variable cost, it increases with the increase in output, starting from 30, 55, 75, 105, 155 and 225. Total cost, adding fixed cost and variable cost, at each output level it continue to increase. And when the output is zero, total cost is still there, which means that this is the fixed cost of production. After comes the average fixed cost and average variable cost. Average fixed cost when we divide fixed cost with the output, average variable cost when we divide variable cost with the output. Average cost, total cost dividing by output. Then comes the marginal cost. Difference between second and first value of total cost gives us the marginal cost. 85 minus 55, 30. 110 minus 85, 25. 130 minus 110, 20. 160 minus 130, 30. 210, 160 is equals to 50. 280 minus 210 is 70. I have repeated it again so that the concept remains clear in your mind. Now, according to the cost minimization point, when the marginal cost is equals to average cost, that is the most desirable point for a producer. Now, when we take a look at this table, there is no such level where the marginal cost is equals to average cost. So if the data is such like that, और अगर आपके पास ऐसा डाटा है कि जहाँ एक नज़र देखने में आपको मार्जिनल कॉस्ट एवरेज कॉस्ट के इक्वल नज़र नहीं आ रही, तो उस केस में फिर हम टेबल को रीड करते हैं और अपना कॉस्ट मिनिमाइजेशन पॉइंट को आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं. Like we start with the first unit of output. Average cost is 85, marginal cost is 30. इसका मतलब है that marginal cost or the additional cost is lower than the average cost. So the producer increases the output. At second level of output, marginal cost is 25, average cost is 55. Again, marginal cost is less than average cost. So it moved to the third level of output. Further again, marginal cost is 20, which is less than average cost, which is 43.5. So the producer again increases one more unit production. Fourth one, when it comes over here, again marginal cost is less than average cost. Marginal cost is 30, average cost is 40. Okay, but when it moves to the fifth level of output, now the marginal cost is 50 and average cost is 42, which means that cost of additional unit is greater than the cost of last produced unit. So it means that this fifth one is not a desirable point for the producer, because over here the profit margin is reducing or maybe indicating loss. So the producer will restrict the production till the fourth level of output where marginal cost is less than average cost. So we are going to consider this as our cost minimization point. I hope that it becomes now more clear that how on the table, or if the tables or the values are given, how the cost minimization point can be identified. All right. Over here, our topic relation between average cost and marginal cost is completed. Then comes the next topic, production decisions. Whenever any firm comes into the market, the production decisions depend upon the time period. That according to time, decision will be made by the producer. So considering time, a decision could be a short run production decision, or it could be a long run production decision. Starting with the short run. Short run is a time period in which at least one of the factor of production is fixed. At least means it could be one or more than one. Mostly land and capital are the fixed factors, however, labor and raw material are variable. And duration is less than 1 year. It could be few days, it could be a month, could be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, but has to be less than 1 year. Now, to clear the case of short run, we are going to take a look at an example. Let's take a consider of a cold drink supplier firm. इस एग्जाम्पल को हम पहले भी डिस्कस कर चुके हैं इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ सप्लाई में. उसी सेम एग्जाम्पल को हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे ताकि आपकी जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है वो ज़्यादा बेहतर हो सके. Before the start of the summer season, the firm forecasted and it want to know that what will be the demand for cold drinks during summer. So according to the surveys, estimated demand for cold drinks is 12,000 bottles on daily basis. So the firm make all the arrangements according to that. Arrangement means how much machinery is required, how much workers should be hired, raw material kitna hona chahiye. So when the season is started, actual demand is 15,000 bottles on daily basis, which is higher than the estimated one. It means that there is a shortage in market. Now, to meet that shortage, a firm has to increase the production. And it requires some necessary steps. For that, the firm tried to cover this shortage by changing the variable factors of production. That is either by increasing the labor and purchasing more of the raw material. So इसका मतलब है कि आपने अपने फिक्स फैक्टर्स को चेंज नहीं किया, सिर्फ अपने वेरिएबल फैक्टर्स को चेंज करके आप अपनी प्रोडक्टिव कैपेसिटी को इंक्रीज करने की कोशिश करते हैं. सो इस टाइम पीरियड को हम शॉर्ट रन प्रोडक्शन डिसीजन कंसिडर करेंगे. Then comes long run. Long run is that in which all the factors of production can be changed or adjusted. Now, considering the same example, let's say that in 3 to 4 months, the demand for cold drink further increases from 15,000 bottles to 18,000 bottles. This time, the producer decided that it is not possible any further to increase the production only by changing the वेरिएबल फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन कि फर्दर आप सिर्फ रॉ मटेरियल और लेबर को चेंज करने से अपनी प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी को इंक्रीज नहीं कर सकते. आपको अपने फिक्स फैक्टर्स को भी इंक्रीज करने की ज़रूरत है. सो द फर्म डिसाइडेड टू इंक्रीज द वर्किंग एरिया विच इज़ लैंड एंड परचेज न्यू मशीनरी एज वेल along with raw material and labor. तो इसका मतलब है कि जब आप अपने सारे फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन को चेंज कर रहे हैं तो हम इसको लॉन्ग रन प्रोडक्शन डिसीजन कंसिडर करेंगे. Okay, so from here let's move to the next topic, diminishing returns and U-shaped cost curve. Basically जो टॉपिक हमने प्रोडक्शन डिसीजन का शॉर्ट रन और लॉन्ग रन को डिस्कस किया है वो इस टॉपिक का इंट्रोडक्शन था. Right, so we are considering a short run where at least one of the factor of production is fixed. Normally, capital and land are fixed, raw material and labor are variable. I'm just repeating it again for your convenience to understand. Okay, typically, in short run, we will consider capital and land to be fixed factor and labor to be variable. Now, let's consider a case of a farmer that it has 1 acre of land and it has to decide that how much labor is required to get a desired level of output. तो यहाँ पर land जो है वो fixed factor है और labor उसका variable factor है. लेकिन ये possible नहीं है कि अगर 1 एकड़ ज़मीन पर आप सिर्फ लेबर को इंक्रीज़ करते चले जाएं तो हर दफ़ा आपकी प्रोडक्शन जो है वो पहले से ज़्यादा होगी. Right? Question is how many workers a firm can hire with fixed factor, which is land. If a producer continue to increase the number of workers, it would lead to diminishing returns. So let's include the concept of diminishing returns. Diminishing returns is firm will continue to get lesser and lesser units of output as a firm adds more and more units of variable input, keeping all other inputs constant. Right? अगर आप अपने बाकी इनपुट्स को कांस्टेंट रख रहे हैं और सिर्फ एक इनपुट को चेंज कर रहे हैं, जो कि हमारी एग्जांपल में लेबर है, तो हर एडिशनल लेबर आपको पहले से कम प्रोडक्शन प्रोवाइड करता है. Let's add another concept, and that's marginal product. Marginal product is additional unit of an output produced by hiring an additional unit of input, keeping all other inputs constant. Alright, यहाँ पर typing error है. It's going to be output over here. It's not input, right? So make your correction. I'm trying to write it over here. It's not input. It is basically output, right? So additional unit of an output produced by hiring an additional unit of an input, keeping all other inputs constant. Marginal cost से similar concept है. Marginal cost additional cost है. Marginal product आपका additional output है. Alright, so let's combine these two concepts. Right, we are saying that when the input increases, production is going to be increased to some point, and then it continued to start reducing. We have taken over here labor on the horizontal axis and marginal product of labor on the vertical axis. Now when the firm hires first worker, it produces, let's suppose, 20 units of, or let's say 100 units of output. Let's say 100 units of output. Again, number of worker increases, marginal product, which is additional output, it increases as well. It reaches over here to the maximum. And with the continued increase in labor, marginal product start declining. यहाँ पर ये आपको declining effect show कर रहा है. जब आप इसको marginal cost और average cost के साथ relate करते हैं, we know that cost minimization is where the marginal cost intersects the average cost. This is cost minimization. Alright, when the marginal product is maximum at point B, marginal cost is at its minimum level, which is point B in the second diagram. इसका मतलब है कि अगर आपको आपका additional worker maximum output provide कर रहा है, तो उसकी जो cost है आपके लिए वो minimum है. लेकिन अगर producer worker को increase करता है, तो हर एडिशनल वर्कर पहले से कम आउटपुट देता है. मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट और एडिशनल आउटपुट आपका डिक्रीज होना शुरू हुआ और मार्जिनल कॉस्ट आपका इंक्रीज होना शुरू हो गया. सो पॉइंट डी पे मार्जिनल कॉस्ट मैक्सिमम है और मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट जो है वो अपने मिनिमम लेवल पे है. ठीक है, मैं रिपीट कर रही हूँ दोबारा से. जैसे जैसे फर्म लेबर को इंक्रीज कर रही है, हर एक्स्ट्रा वर्कर पहले से कम आउटपुट फर्म को दे रहा है, और ये हमें नज़र आ रहा है मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट कर्व से, जो कि डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग हो गया या डिक्लाइन कर रहा है. और मार्जिनल कॉस्ट को अगर हम इसके साथ कंपेयर करते हैं तो मार्जिनल कॉस्ट इंक्रीज होती चली जा रही है. पॉइंट बी पे जहां मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट मैक्सिमम है, मार्जिनल कॉस्ट उस पॉइंट पर मिनिमम है. और अगर प्रोड्यूसर इस पॉइंट से आगे प्रोड्यूस करता है या एक्स्ट्रा वर्कर हायर करता है, तो मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट रिड्यूस हो रही है और मार्जिनल कॉस्ट इंक्रीज हो रही है. सो दिस इज व्हाई दैट द एवरेज कॉस्ट कर्व इज अ यू शेप्ड कॉस्ट कर्व. एक दफ़ा आपकी एवरेज कॉस्ट मिनिमम लेवल पे पहुंच गई, लेकिन अगर आप अपने वेरिएबल फैक्टर को कॉन्टीन्यूली इंक्रीज करते चले जाएंगे, तो आपकी जो मार्जिनल कॉस्ट है वो इंक्रीज होगी और उसी वजह से एवरेज कॉस्ट भी इंक्रीज होना शुरू हो जाएगी. सो शॉर्ट रन में हमारे पास जो यू शेप्ड कॉस्ट कर्व आता है, इट इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ डिमिनिशिंग रिटर्न्स. आई हैव रिटन इट ओवर हियर एज वेल. Consider the short run in which land is fixed but labor is variable. In such a situation, there are diminishing returns to variable factor, which is labor in our example, because each additional unit of labor has less land to work with. As a result, the marginal cost of output will rise and marginal product will reduce. That leads to diminishing returns and giving us a U-shaped cost curve. So this is the second topic which is completed over here. So to conclude, I'm again repeating it to make it easier for you people to understand that if the marginal cost increases, then marginal product reduces. Marginal cost is additional cost, marginal product is additional output. That leads to higher average cost, resulting in U-shaped average cost curve. That is, average cost increases again after attaining the minimum level. राइट आप इस टॉपिक को स्टडी करें. अगर जो आपकी क्यूरीज हैं वो हम अपनी शेड्यूल्ड क्लास में क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन में इसको डिस्कस करेंगे. थैंक यू. अल्लाह हाफिज़.